There you are. Hello, Amanda.
Hello, Willem. Hello, welcome
Yes.
to the magnificent, multi-dimensional Bliss Dance Cosmic Show.
Oh, what a nice introduction. Yeah, I like that one.
We'll have to put all the introductions that we've tried to do into this video.
Okay, but just bring in that multi-dimensional because now the picture's doing funny things. I think the voices are doing funny things. So, okay.
Yeah, well, we better just jump right into the topic.
Okay.
Um, okay, so Bliss Dance, multi-dimensionality, cosmic awakening, DNA, genetic shifts, all that stuff. That's where I want to go with the topic. And
Beautiful.
just to let everyone know that that I met you through Bliss Dance a couple of months ago, and loved the work,
Ah, great.
and wanted so much to share some of what you're offering with other people.
Yes.
So let's should we do you want to recap, or should we just move on with the topic? Do you want to recap in terms of how you got here
Yes. Yeah, let me go
and the
quickly. Yes.
background?
So,
Yeah.
yes, I'm Willem Smuts, and I've been in the conscious dance world since 1999. And dance is a huge passion in my life. Dance happens very naturally for me now. Whenever there's music, my body just goes into movement so easily. It's very fluid, very open to music, and that's very much happened through this process. Um, I'm also a holistic therapist, so I help people on their personal journeys, their spiritual journey, their emotional journey, shedding, clearing, armoring. Is the bird
Nature loves
interfering?
to join in on the conversation,
Ah!
They always do.
Nature's, yeah, no, that's very good. Um, and I work, yes, with a lot of futurist energy modalities. I work with biofeedback, I work with energy vibrations, with uh, Bach flower essences. Mostly, I live in the world of energy, and I bring that into the conscious dance as well. Just how powerful frequency vibration is in terms of our reality here.
The Luries are agreeing.
And
They're like,
they're agreeing. And then another part of my background, I worked for 12 years in an industrial theater company. I co-owned an industrial theater company. We put on plays. So I was working with actors daily. So there's a lot of theatricality in me as well, which I bring into Bliss Dance. I love the theatricality and the contrast and paradox and drama and that, because yeah, it takes one somewhere. So that's why I like.
definitely,
Uh,
definitely does. So, what is Bliss Dance for people that don't know what it is?
yes, Bliss Dance, one can very much see as a playground of consciousness and a space to come explore, to expand, and find more of yourself. Bliss Dance has really got so much to offer, to open up new realms. If you find that you're in a groove in your life and you want to move to other aspects of yourself, Bliss Dance can help you so much in that. And I find also what Bliss Dance offers is for people that are finding, ooh, I want to move, but and music is speaking to me suddenly, and I want to move more, but I want to move differently from how I move in a club or in a structured dance class. I want to move more freely. Then Bliss Dance is the place. Bliss Dance can offer that to you. And then once you enter it, it's kind of limitless in terms of where it can go, because it keeps on evolving, keeps on opening. Okay, so
So,
that's quite a, yeah.
so Bliss Dance is a bit of a marriage of Biodanza and Tantra, isn't it?
That's correct, and you can also put in non-dualism marriage of biodanza, tantra, non-dualism. And so I would say BlissDance has a stronger focus on consciousness and spirituality than biodanza has. It's biodanza's foundation and basis goes back to the body, and BlissDance's focus is very much on consciousness and spirituality. But of course, with the embodiment of it, putting it that way. But the emphasis is different.
So, just tell me a little bit about like what people would expect in a BlissDance. Like, what do you do in a class? And I can share some of my experiences, even though I'm new. But you know, because I think people will be interested as to what to expect and what people get out of it, and what your experience has been leading it.
Yeah, so when people arrive, the first thing I ask them is to, we ask people not to speak during the process, but that's kind of standard in all conscious dancing processes. So the purpose of that is in order to help us tune into more of our emotions. So, you know, the outer layer of the brain, the cerebral cortex, that's where speech, or most of the speech center comes from. And that's not really connected so much with our emotional self. So when we're not speaking, then we're tuning into our feeling, we go to the deeper layers of the brain, which is the hypothalamus and hippocampus. And that's where a lot of our emotion lies, and also where a lot of our stored up and locked away emotion is. So in our modern city life, we tend to not get to that emotion, and then BlissDance is a very good way to help us to get there. Okay, but that's now I went into a theory, but as well now. So what to expect in a BlissDance class is, yes, we're going to ask you not to speak, and I, as facilitator or one of the other BlissDance facilitators, plays a track of music, and the track of music evokes emotion in you, and then that emotion carries you into the dance. So there's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got to move like this, got to move like that. Your body has to be like that. No, nothing like that. It's how you feel, how the music is making you feel, how the energy of the music, what is that doing to you? So, and to get a space to express that. So I, as facilitator, lead a dance. I first give an idea of where we're going, and then I give it over to the group. And then the group expresses it. But if you come on your own and you've got your specific style, then you stay in that style. So you're not asked to change that. So that's a wonderful. So the idea is that you become more of yourself, more authentic, more aspects of yourself are revealed. So that's another one aspect that comes out. The other aspect of BlissDance, it's quite vitalizing, it's quite energizing, so you can expect to feel wonderfully inspired, enthusiastic, and energized. So if you're feeling you're in a bit of a grey drudgery in your life, come to BlissDance, because that can give you that sense of renewal and vital renewal. And then there's also after the expressive part in the class, there's also a process of going inward, where we tune in to how we're feeling, and tuning into more of the sensitive and subtle movements. So the journey is always more and more towards more of the subtle emotions, which is just, it's just so sublime. It's just so beautifully blissful, and it's ultimately when we're tuning in with these subtle emotions that the bliss arrives, and hence the name BlissDance, because then we go to the euphoric places and where we feel so connected with nature and flowers and the cosmos and all of life.
And each other as well.
Yes. So, and then after a class, the other aspect that starts happening, there's a sense of community that starts happening. There's this, we tend tend to start, if you before you come, we tend to have, because before you come into a class, you may feel a bit of distance with other people, and boundaries and masks that are put up. But the process very, very quickly starts removing those boundaries. So they drop very, very easily, because it's a very, very safe process. So the masks start dropping, and then people start opening to each other, and suddenly you find, but I just really like these people, and I want to see them again. And then that's just so amazing. And there's just this direct connection that starts happening. So all of that can happen just even within the first session, which is quite amazing. It's quite powerful. And then,
And for people that I mean, I know that there's a lot of physical contact, and sometimes people hold each other or whatever in different points in the dance. And for those people that sort of want to create boundaries for themselves, I mean, is that something that's easy for people to create in the space? Or how do people create boundaries in a sense in the space if they don't feel
yes, no,
comfortable
they
with
very
someone else
much,
touching them or
if
whatever?
someone comes for the if someone comes for the first time, we really encourage them to look after themselves in terms of boundaries, that they don't feel, oh, I have to move closer to other people, I have to touch them, or that. No, it's not like that. It's ultimately, you do everything in terms of what we call feedback. So you feel how you are. And if you're feeling a bit sensitive about moving closer to someone else, then you do the dance on your own, or you move away from the group if the group is moving together. But then one of the amazing discoveries of BlissDance, and maybe you found it for yourself, is very much in moving closer to others and in doing interactive dances with someone else. That's where so much of the magic lies. So we do encourage people to go there, to interact with other people, because that's when we feel fully alive, and that's life. Then we are here and now in life, interacting with other human beings, and not and randomly as it happens. And yes, that's when so much of the bliss arrives, because yes, then we move into presence, and we here and now, and we're dealing with life as it is. And that's when the bliss just starts happening. And so much of the magic also. I find people go into aspects of themselves, or they express themselves in interactive dances. There's aspects of themselves that emerge that they didn't know they had. And after the dances say, but I didn't know I could be like that. And I didn't know. One can so easily find someone that's quite shy and has quite a shy appearance, and then through the process and through an interactive dance, suddenly they become this big and expressive and strong person, and expressing such a strong dance and such strong, fiery and potent dance. And that's just amazing to see how that happens. So that's all possible. That's very, very possible, yeah. And it's possible for everyone. So, yeah.
So you've seen a lot of changes, and I'll talk as well about what I've seen. But what do you think I mean, I know that from my experience and from talking to other people, Bliss Dance is like this. It's like a multi-purpose space, you could say. Where many things are happening, and people are coming to it for many different reasons. So people are working on many levels in a bliss dance.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So, sorry, was there a question?
So I was just wondering, if you want to say anything about the work that bliss dance is doing in the world, like its place in the world at the moment. Like, what is its function? I mean, it's got so many functions. But you go first, and then I'll say what I've seen.
Okay, yeah, no, it's very, that gets me so excited. I just want to go up out in light here because yes, I start glowing with that question. Yes, no, because it is just so multi-leveled. So there's so much happening for me as facilitators. What facilitator that I see going, it seems that there's a group of 15 people in the class. It seems everyone in that group can be on their own specific level of consciousness where things are happening for them, but somehow the container of BlissDance holds it all. The container of freedom. Ultimately, I can say that BlissDance is about freedom. It's about the infinite freedom of life, the cosmic freedom that's available for us, and that the multi-level potentiality of life that's available for all of us. And for each one that's dancing in that process, that it starts happening for them where they are at, and they start unfolding and into more and more freedom of life. So the multi-leveled aspect of it is so beautiful because right now we've got new frequencies. The sun is emitting new frequencies. That the sun is receiving frequencies from Sirius, and Sirius is receiving it from the central sun, and these frequencies are affecting us directly. And what to do with it, and how to, and very much in BlissDance is very much a space where we can realize more fully that there are new energies, and the new energies are affecting our dance. They're making us dance and move differently and interact differently. So it plays out in that way. So yes, we can be dealing with our issues and things that are happening in our life in the dance, but very quickly, because of the very wide container of BlissDance linking with the one consciousness, then our problems tend to dissolve and we move into a state of eternal presence. And then it moves, on the way there, it moves through the multi-levels.
Yeah, I
So
remember.
yes, what's your input?
It's a beautiful question, and I'm sure we could talk, a lot about it. And I'm sure we'll probably have to do another couple of interviews about it. But I remember we were chatting yesterday a little bit about the multidimensionality of the space and the whole idea of how we're working into these unified fields. And we were chatting a little bit about David Bohm, the quantum physicist.
That's right.
And implicate and explicit order, and I know some people say explicit and explicit. Moving from, in a sense, the manifest, or physicality through into fields of energy and potential. We move into these cosmic unified fields. And it's just like infinite wisdom becomes available. There's suddenly everyone's attending to everything that needs to be attended to. It's like whoever's needing to be healed is being healed, and whoever needs to be loved is being loved, and it's just the most unbelievable space, and some people have called it a playground of consciousness, and other people have called it a space to explore identity. But I think it's really, I mean, it's all of those things, and it's a healing space, and it's this special place for me at the moment. In terms of the planetary energies, because I think that people are coming to BlissDance in a way to let go of their past identities and to open themselves up to these kind of new energies and frequencies that are being downloaded to us. And we have to be in a kind of a certain state. You have to be in a certain state of mind to allow those new information sort of downloads into your body. And the body is such an unbelievable space. It's a resonator. So if we can move out of our, sort of locked mind or whatever, which you do very quickly in BlissDance, and just open to this cosmic flow in a sense, then I'm sure people just get downloads of information, like this morphogenic field download type thing. I don't know if that's been your experience at all.
Oh, completely. I know there's very much, it's such a space, a receptive space, especially when we go into the deep relaxation or like a trance-like space. Yes, then sometimes people come out of that space and I can see, but yes, sure, yeah, we've all traveled together, actually, in a sense, through a portal that's opened into other dimensions, new spaces, and it differs. We never know every week where we're gonna go, and it's like it's a process that's so strongly guided, and as facilitator, I open myself to that, to hear the guidance, and then there's a group energy, a group consciousness that comes through and guides us, and guiding very much angelic guidance and high dimensional guidance that comes through. And then the wisdom that starts flowing, also beautiful. And also the other aspect is very much a crystalline download that's happening, because everything seems so ordered. It's so amazing to see how the whole group can start moving as one. There's one pulse that moves through the group, starts moving through, and it goes beyond the music. Yes, the music starts opening that up, and it's transcendent and other high-dimensional music that starts happening. But then there's this energy pulse that comes through, and then it's like it speaks directly to everyone in the group, and the whole group starts moving as one. And then we get this sense of being humanity, not only humans, that we are one organism, one energy, and that the new frequencies are speaking through us in that way. And then what's so amazing is also the reverential space that we can go into, like in terms of the bhakti space or reverential, where it's just so easy to chant together, to just feel the oneness, because we just feel it directly. It's no theoretical thing about it. It's there, and we just want to be devotional and ecstatic and blissful and re-energized. So then what then also happens once that has happened and we start emerging from that is this renewal of life force, and that's every single time we do the dance. I see that happening with this complete, it's like the update of software that's happened, and the old software has been cleared, and now renewal, upload, and here we go into our week again with the new energy. And then what's amazing is sometimes that energy is so huge, it takes me by surprise. It's like amplified by 10, 20 times from where we started in the class to where we end. And people just go to such strong expression with that renewal in energy. And it's also clear and crystalline clear and pure and here and now and in presence. Yeah, so that's the
Yes,
beauty of it.
you've spoken about the space before as a kind of the energy that moves through helps to clear out old energies, and you
Yeah,
know that you've witnessed energy becoming clearer and clearer the longer that you've worked. You've actually seen, you know, even sexual energy, say for example, get cleaner and cleaner, so that it's just almost like pure life force that's moving through. You know, there's
yeah.
not so much garbage or whatever.
Yes, the attachments start leaving, and it becomes just one unified, what we call undifferentiated eros, where the eros and the sexual energy is there as a life force of renewal, not a life force of attachment, not a life force of limitation, but all in a very safe and held space where it becomes transcendent in the sense that we feel one, as that we feel that direct oneness of being, that it's like one flower that's unfolding.
So I wanted to touch on that idea because you speak about the pulse, this pulse of energy that comes through at a
Mm,
certain point.
yes,
It's like a peak state in a way
yes,
that is
that's right.
achieved in the class, and it reminds me of this piece that I read by that Russian writer who writes on the art of flow and of how to achieve ecstasy. And
Ah,
he speaks about it. He's famous for his work on flow. I can't remember his exact name, it's quite difficult to pronounce. But he speaks about achieving ecstasy as a state of being outside of, you know, your identity, or outside of the way that you identify yourself as. And just in terms of your work with non-dualism, maybe you could speak a little bit about what their beliefs are, what the practice is, even. You know, what is non-dualism?
yeah, so just to get back to that link up to that ecstasy state, and I'll take it from there, is just ultimately, I think sometimes it's to get to this place so that to see that we are not our personality. And if we get hooked, and if our identity lies in our personality, then things can become limiting. And in the bliss dance, very much we go beyond personality. We start seeing, the personality will do this, this, and this. But in this expanded state, I do this, 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 and this. So what's going on? Who am I? Yes, which is the key. So much of the key question. Yeah, no. Who am I? Who is this?
Who am
And
I really?
yes, who am I really? Who am I in reality? So yeah, in terms of non-dualism, non-dualism, why we use the term non-dualism or not two is instead of saying oneness, because if we say oneness, then it means there must also be zero, and then it all becomes a mind thing again. So just the best description of presence, the presence of awareness, is just saying it's not two. When you see an other, that means there is separation in perception. So it's to go beyond that space of separation where there is just the one consciousness, just the one awareness, the knowing of what is happening. And ultimately, for each and everyone to test, to go through experiences, to see this, that is who I am. I am the awareness beyond birth, beyond death. The awareness that knows everything, the knowing that knows all infinitely.
So do people have, I mean, obviously people have discoveries of that infinite self beyond the normal identity. Because it's quite a thing to discover it's quite a thing to discover this greater I, in a sense, this infinite self,
Yeah,
right? And
yes.
um, it's quite a journey to understand that we have this personality that's like a little box, but that's not it. That's not what we are really. We're that's just the program that we operate through, and it's just a viewing point. It's like a window. But if you step back or whatever and you look through other windows or whatever, you can see you're none of the windows. You're the sun, or
Mm.
shining through the windows, or I mean, I think you spoke about it once as saying, you said something like, you are the screen, you're the viewer, you're the screen, you're everything.
Yes, ultimately, yes. So once it doesn't matter what film is projected on the screen stays the same. And the screen just has this appearance of now this film, now that film, and now that story is happening. But ultimately, the screen stays the same. And using that as an analogy, that's, yes, we are, if we put awareness as the screen, as an infinitely knowing screen, then yes, that's who we are. So much more. And there's so much more you can delve into. And that's where Rupert Spira is so great in using that analogy. Of course, Nisargadatta Maharaj and various non-dualism teachers use the analogy because it's just so powerful. It really hits home. But something I want to get back to in terms of the identity and personality and how BlissDance is used and the tools in BlissDance is in using interactive dances and dramatic interactive dances, going into sometimes like a bit of our shadow states and dancing them out, then and going through that experience can actually highlight to us or shake loose get us out of the box to realize what is happening in our personality. And they're using dramatic and strongly interactive dances. I use that a lot, using paradox, using drama, using amplified emotion to go into a dance, and using passion to go into a dance. That I find that's the fuel that takes us through, and then we go to a space where, oh, what's happening here? I haven't done some, and I see myself in an amplified way. Or afterwards, it pushes us beyond where we normally would go, and then we say, I've broken through. I can do this. I can do this. I can be like this. I can be different with someone else. So why can't I do it in my life? And so there's that aspect that also comes.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful. It's like the amplifier,
it's the
the great.
amplifier. That's where we use fire and passion. So for all the fiery and passionate beings, yes, very much the BlissDance is a home. And then of course also for the very ultra sensitive and tender, it's also a home. So we use the elements very strongly. Like in the true shamanic tradition, yes, we use because the roots are also in shamanism. We use the elements very powerfully, and that's just always so transformative. And another aspect of BlissDance is after a session you can have these dreams, I think you've also experienced. You can have very metaphysical dreams. You can have dreams about your ancestry, dreams about shamanism, dreams about the Incas, dreams, and it's like, from where does it come? All these, and that's all that. So it just opens so many worlds, so many realms, according to yourself, according to where you at. So you can feel safe in coming to BlissDance because it'll take you on your journey. It's not taking you on my journey. It's not taking you on Amanda's journey or anyone's else. It's your unfolding of your multidimensional self, and the unfolding also of your subconscious, and the unveiling of more of your personality to enrich who you are.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it in terms of, it's like this space for the subconscious mind to have a space to work with
To have
itself
a
in a
party.
way. Yeah. And I think that, there's so many points that you've made that are amazing and so many, avenues to speak about. I'm not even sure which one to go to
Yeah.
first. The whole idea of using the space as an amplifier, and like in homeopathy, and even in drama therapy, what you try and amplify the inner state. Once you've done that and you make it bigger, um, people you basically work through the unfinished and unresolved energy behind that state, and it does get cleared out. So that's the one thing that I wanted to say, that idea of amplification and its power to clear out the subconscious
Yeah.
is incredible. The other point that I was thinking of while you were talking was just the how important, I think for many people who do spiritual work, that they don't do what they call a spiritual bypass, which is like, put all the information in your mind, or in your intellect, and not engage the body in its enlightenment, in its own process of alchemy.
Mm.
So for me, when I go to BlissDance, it's really about saying, working with the levels of the body as well, the physical, working with the physical realm, the emotional realm, all those energies. So it's a space for all those things, how nice it is to go there. And for some people, they go there, and to have contact. I mean, I know for me, it was like, it was wonderful just to go and like have the skin time, like touching other people, and the intimacy of a dance is a beautiful thing to share, with people, and to learn about intimacy, and to learn about how to have these new chapters and dialogues of intimacy, and even understandings of it, because in a way it's like a whole long lesson around intimacy from the beginning of the class till the end,
Yes, yes, no.
you know like finding different ways to be intimate and opening up the concepts of intimacy. um, and I'm just thinking about the dolphins now,
Yeah,
in
if you
alignment with that.
yes, if we can
You
just
want to say
pause
something?
pause with the dolphins. And just
Go.
about intimacy. Ultimately, yes, it's a it's a whole. We go down this uh, this shoot of intimacy. Yes, and thinking, yes, okay, intimacy lies in touch, and then it unfolding until we come to the space of non-dualism, of being in one consciousness, which is then the ultimate intimacy, realizing, here we have it all. Why move? It's just, yeah, that's so the ultimate intimacy of the one self, of the expanded of self. Yes, being there is nothing, yeah, ultimately coming to a space that there is nothing more intimate than that, because everything is available right there, right here and now, in that intimate space.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and it also ties a little bit into the discussion about this idea of the deep masculine and deep feminine, and
Aha,
or this deep self that interacts when we get into that deepened state of consciousness.
yes,
Then this divine beingness starts to get expressed through each other. And that's kind of what I was saying at the beginning around, when people move out of their boxes and out of their personalities and this kind of survival program or whatever, and hit that pulse state, that you were speaking about. That,
mm,
suddenly we're just like, psh,
we
we're in
receptive,
a unified field,
yes,
we're in space, and it's exquisite, sort of ecstatic, blissful state. the implicate order that Bohm speaks about, the invisible realms of consciousness, then this divine self starts expressing itself through us and through, so it's like, just trying, it's hard to find words in those moments, but it's like a part of me gets, wow, how can you say this? It's like you're disidentified with yourself. So love is expressed through everybody, I suppose. You could put it like that. It's really hard to find the words, but it's like it becomes like one person or one beingness. Everybody in the group is, giving each other as if they were one being.
That's
somehow.
exactly it, eh? And guided. Everyone is guided. There's guidance open to the supreme intelligence. Everyone, all the in that space, and then everyone plays their role, plays their part for the benefit of the whole group, and for the benefit of everyone in the group, and for themselves. Yeah. So that's so amazing. Yeah.
And I remember you said just recently, the last BlissDance that I went to, I arrived and I started moving, and just this awareness arose of my state, what I'd been carrying. And it was like, okay, I'm really angry. I've been carrying anger, basically. And then so the space of moving into BlissDance and out of the need to be there for others and towards my own internal awareness allowed me to see, okay, well, this is how I am right now, and I'm shocked that I'm like that, but at least now I'm aware of it. So now I'm going to let it have some space. And by the time I was at the end of the dance, that anger had kind of transmuted itself, and it was just gone. And one of the things that you said was so beautiful. You said one of the things that you had realized about anger was that one of the root causes of it was thinking that we're separate.
Yes, that we're separate individuals.
It's a beautiful contemplation. Because if we can be in this space together where we're one, and you're an extension of me, and we're all kind of somebody trying to get hold of you.
Okay, yeah, let them be.
Yeah. Anyway, but I wanted to touch on the Dolphins as well.
Okay, great. Yes, yeah, because we've got a trip 28th of May to Ponte de Ura.
Yeah. So tell us about your dolphin work and how it evolved, and what it's about for you, and how it's linked to the BlissDance and all of that.
Yeah, so I started long ago with already with Nelia from Halo Gaia. We did the first trip together already in, I think, 2003. And Kate Clement went along on the first one. Since then, and since the start, it's just been always so amazing, just so transformative when we go to the Dolphins. Because ultimately that's bliss, that's direct bliss, being with the dolphins, and then they act with their sonar and their high vibration frequency. They seem to activate a state of bliss in us that stays for hours. It's like being, after you've swum with the dolphins, and we swim with the dolphins in the ocean, they're wild dolphins that live in the ocean. And after you've been with them, there's this blissful state that arrives, and it stays for hours. It's like being in the water, with a very high frequency happening around you, and the waves of bliss just keep on happening. Very close to an orgasmic tantric. Lighter vibration, orgasmic tantric space, where you have this light waves rolling over you. That's very much how it feels. And just so beautiful to see their joy and how they relate and the ecstasy in living, how they live, and then being with them. So many of us go into an ecstatic state. So, and people start crying spontaneously. And generally, if someone is needing assistance, the dolphins tend to circle around them. If they're in a difficult and stuck emotional space, the dolphins tend to circle them, and the sonar waves go to them to break down those emotional blockages. And then people go through big shifts and transformations. And the other aspect that happens generally, we get when I'm with the dolphins, I ask questions. It's like a heightened intuitive space. So asking questions about your life, then answers come. Some people change their names while they're on a trip because they get messages, and so there's all of that. So it's always a very, very beautifully, very strongly um, transformational space. Yes, being with the dolphins.
That's beautiful, and it's so directly linked for me to the BlissDance work that you do.
Yes,
Bringing that, really, you working with frequency with people,
exactly.
and helping them to access higher states of frequency within themselves that help, activate their own. I mean, I don't know how much you know about epigenetics.
Yes, I do. I've read Bruce Lipton. Most of his stuff. So
Yeah, there's a beautiful scientist in Hawaii who's a friend of mine as well, who works with epigenetics,
okay.
and his name's William Brown, and he's studied with swum with the dolphins and done a lot of work with the Sirius Institute that's there. It's actually
Mm.
called the Sirius
Oh,
Institute,
beautiful. Yes.
and there's a lot of scientists there that are working with sonar and frequency of the dolphins and how it has a direct impact on our epigenetic sort of structure.
Mm.
And the reason why that's so important at the moment is because what I understand we're doing on a global scale is we're moving from what people call a third dimensional sort of frequency state to a fifth dimensional. So we're doing a frequency jump.
Yes.
And the fifth dimension is multidimensionality, whereas the third dimension is very much more like linear physics. It's like, okay, this is the solid world, this is the structure, we've only got one timeline, one destiny, everything's fixed. That's kind of like the third dimension. And the
Yes.
fifth dimension is where we've got time and space in a non-linear way. So we're moving in multiple timelines with this sort of infinite self, and we're activating a whole lot of multidimensional capacity within ourselves. And so it's just interesting the work with BlissDance and frequency and the dolphins as well, and this joy state.
Yes, yes, and it is amazing. And if I can just expand on the frequency, something about Bliss Dance, it's so amazing to observe the power of frequency. That ultimately, it's not our bodies that make us move. It's no, it's to put too much focus on the body and making that the body must do this, that, and that, and that, and then I can dance like this. No, it's not. It's actually a frequency. It's a consciousness level that enables us to dance in a certain way. And I've seen it directly. We should actually do a video, where we see how people dance when they come in at a certain, more the third dimensional city vibration, and how they dance. And then when we start accessing more the higher frequencies and the multidimensionality, then people's dance change radically. It's like suddenly they can do twists and turns and leap into the air like they are on stage, which normally they can't do when they're out of that space. And how does that happen? It happens through frequency. It's the frequency that activates different parts of our antenna, that there's receptors on our cells, and those receptors are hit by those higher frequencies, and it enables the body to dance. So in a sense, our body is very much is a puppet of frequency. Change the frequency and the puppet moves differently. And that's my approach in Bliss Dance. So moving away from too much emphasis on the body. That is really the importance is frequency. And where does the frequency lie? It lies in our consciousness, in the way that we perceive ourselves. We come back to that point about personality, where we see, if I see myself as a personality, as only this, that I need to function in life according to my personality, then yeah, we're limited. But if we go beyond more to being consciousness, yes, then the personality can do all amazing things and all amazing movements and that. So, and that's the beauty of so much of the beauty of Bliss Dance.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And also lending the frequency of the music to the people that are there. And then like a dolphin, you know, the music's like the wave, and you ride on it, you ride on the frequency
and that's
of that
where
wave.
the music is so crucial. You know, the music that's chosen, it needs to be harmonious. It needs to be, if it's too jarring, you can go out the process. And it needs, if it's evoking all these higher dimensional things, yes, then the whole thing happens. So it can't just choose straightforward music and have an ecstatic class. It's not, that doesn't happen. The music plays a very key part in it. In that the music, there needs to be complex rhythms, there needs to be complex harmonics, there needs to be structured harmonics in it to wake us up into alignment with the order of the cosmos. So it's all with a purpose that we choose the music that we do.
That's amazing. I mean, it's so masterfully put together, your classes. It's just an amazing experience to be there, because you're just so good at what you do. And I'm definitely not the only one that loves and enjoys your Bliss Dance.
Yeah, and
so it's really, I mean, you working this full range spectrum of things in a Bliss Dance, in so many different levels. It's quite unbelievable. Your painting,
yes,
your painting,
it's a painting.
your mad creation for the night.
Yes.
This dance is your canvas, and who knows what's going to happen on it.
And then it comes out so ordered in the end. There's so much landing. I'm home. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, there's a bit of order in the chaos. Hey?
Yes, that's true.
A deeper order,
Deeper
you could say.
Because the chaos, from the chaos comes the deeper sense of belonging and the renewal. So much, the renewal.
Yeah, that dropping into source. That's beautiful. So wow, we're going to talk. There was a little bit I was going to say. You've touched on the crystalline bodies and the crystalline, I suppose, earth. What I want to just talk a little bit on the pineal gland and the decalcification process, because I've heard people speaking a lot about that in terms of, even with, say, ayahuasca journeys and some of the medicine work that people are doing and tantra, various things, they're talking about, that people have become hardened, that even the pineal gland hardens, in a sort of fixed state.
That's right.
And that some of the work that has been done at the moment helps, decalcify the pineal gland. I don't know if you can speak about that at all. If there's anything to say.
Yeah, and that's the nutrition and food choices come in. So one of the, I've gone on that journey for myself now, where I've gone on a decalcifying diet, which entails, so the foods that tend to cause calcification in the pineal gland is dairy, so all the milk, cheese, and yogurt, and then also most of the grains. But primarily wheat and the glutens cause a calcification, and then too much acid build up of all the acid forming foods, to stay away from that. So alkalizing your diet. And yes, I've definitely found I've been on it for about a year now, and yes, there is a heightened intuition that's coming. I'm seeing energy more clearly with people, and then of course facilitating, I see the energy of the group, and that. So definitely in that way, there are those advantages. Um, but I do think it's something that you need to, it arrives for you. It feels, oh, this is right for me to do. I don't think, because if we just set out, oh, now I'm going to do that, then it's maybe not where your body mind is at. It's not the frequency that's right for you. Everything comes to us at the right time. So perhaps the broader question or to speak about is really about a sensitizing journey, and to do whatever the next thing is about what is needed for your process of sensitizing. And then there's also what also can happen is an oversensitizing. We can also get oversensitized, which we find, if people go 100% raw and they're not eating 100% organic, then the pesticides in the raw food can be overwhelming, because before they were vaporized while they were stir fried or whatever. So then you get people then they get more and more limited in or there is a tendency. It's not like that for everyone. Some people can go on the 100% raw journey and it just completely works for them. But others, it's not completely right to go that way. So ultimately, the journey is to follow our intuition, I believe, right now. As a friend of mine pointed out, Eisenstein uses the term radical self-trust, which is, that's very much in my face at the moment, to get to that space in myself, to hear the intuitive voice clearly and strongly. And in the BlissDance process, especially when we go into the deeper trance state, then there is that heightened state of intuition, heightened state of awareness, and it tends to linger on, after the process.
And I know that there are, many tools that people can refer to and use from various places for integration of that work. Because I know from my own experience that it's quite it can be quite an intense experience, and then you have to find different tools and different ways in the community to integrate, and to hold the process for yourself over time.
Yes.
And I suppose that different people can resource those different things for themselves.
That's true. No, that's true. It's all available on the internet, and on the BlissDance site. We give on the Facebook site. There's various things that come that we post. So there's all of that's available. But just to get back to the crystalline energy, so that the pineal gland vibrates has a crystal-like vibration, a specific frequency that it can put out, in the pituitary gland the same. And then ultimately that our heart is a network, is a crystalline grid, ultimately, that vibrates like a massive crystal. That is as such we've all seen that information from the Heart Maths Institute about how powerful the heart is, that when the heart gives an impulse, it overrides the brain by something like, several, like 400 to 600 times. It's just way more powerful than the brain. The force of the frequency, the pulse that goes out from the heart overrides the brain. It actually dominates. It's what guides the brain. And that's so much of what we're moving into, is to completely go into the vibration of the feeling of the frequency of our heart, of our heart crystal. And that's the center of our being, and which is love.
So Willem, you're doing unbelievable work. I'm so happy to have found you and to, just share some of your work with everybody. Just want to say we're coming up to the end of an hour and it's getting
Sure.
dark in here.
Okay.
But we'll definitely do some more interviews
Yes.
and
No.
unpack sort of, because this is kind of just a wide spectrum conversation, and I think
Yes.
there's a lot in it, and I think that it's a there are many beautiful topics that deserve time and love. But I just want to say that your work is really wonderful, and thank you for what you're doing. And I know that you're doing many other things, like you do, your hypnotherapy work, and you're working, with your practice. So maybe just give us a quick summary on closing as to what the other modalities are that you do, and where people can find you, and how to get hold of you.
Oh, great. Yes. So I have a website. It's Willem Smuts, just normal WILLEMSMUTS.co.za. And there a lot of all the modalities are put out there. I have a stop smoking program, a very effective program where I do biofeedback with the cigarette, which is already 70% successful, to get someone to build up a resistance to smoking. And then I do a hypnosis process after that. So that's like a 2-hour process. That's very, very effective. And that can work for other addictions as well. Then I do allergy desensitization work using the NATE system, NAET. That's all given on my website. And that's very effective. Say, like, if you get a rash, I treat a lot of skin conditions because that's so apparent with allergies. So if you're getting some or other rash on your skin or some or other reaction on your skin, I can help you. Most probably, I'll be able to help you with that. So, for instance, someone comes to me, they step into the shower, they come out of the shower with a rash. Now, what to do? They got to have water on them every day. Generally, that means they've got a chlorine allergy, and then I treat them for chlorine to desensitize them, and then they can shower. So it's as wonderful as that.
Amazing.
And then also, if people have, like, that they can't, that they get sick from certain foods, I can help them that they react less to certain foods. You still need to choose carefully because right now the foods are so pesticide laden, so eating wheat is just not a good idea. It's just so pesticide laden, there's just so full of pesticide, and that interrupts the energy channels in the body, and then our system doesn't work well. So there's that. And so I also help people to detox with the biofeedback computer, and the biofeedback computer also helps to align the polarities in the cells and in the organs so that the system starts functioning better. So people just get a general sense of well-being and a detoxing effect that happens, which is just extremely valuable because there's so many toxins coming into our system. So, and then general hypnosis work also to help people overcome blockages in their life. I can, doing various things. Can also do regression work or whatever is needed to look at those blockages.
Yes, and you're busy. You're helping people, some of your clients, with like overcoming like major disease, right? I mean, you're helping them transform things just by becoming aware of where they're at.
Yes, very
Use
much,
your own
and
intuition.
helping them with their intuition as well. So yes, there's a lot of there's some technological help, but then also helping tuning in with my intuition and seeing, this most likely as a child your mother wasn't there for you or your father wasn't there, and as a baby, and hence there's this pattern that's in you. So those patterns I can see.
Yes, you're an intuitive, Willem.
Yes, that comes, yeah. So that I help with that, and then give healing processes to help people, and visualizations and things to do. So I use the healing codes at the moment. One of the other things I want to mention that I've started is I do dance therapy work in a space where people are in a home, a psychiatric home. where people go stay as a reprieve from society when there's been a breakdown, a nervous system breakdown or something, and they're there for 3 months to 6 months, and I go do dance sessions with them. And that's very beautiful. That's helping them integrate and reintegrate and reconnect with life. So it's beautiful to see how the process works with them, with that, how BlissDance works. Also for that.
And I believe you're also going to be doing some BlissDance possibly at the conference in October, hopefully.
Oh, yes.
Soul
Yes,
Space, hopefully we'll all
that's
be
Soul
there
Space.
together.
Yes, that's that. And there's what's in the pipeline. Yeah, is a creativity workshop. Also workshops on the on the elements. So various things, and then also working with artists, working with other modalities. Yes, so seeing
Very
how that.
exciting. So the main thing is just to get hold of you through your website.
Through my website, and my email address is on the website. Is wjsmuts smuts @gmail.com. Or my cell number, you people can WhatsApp me, and that's 082 4581 031. But the website has all that info, and that's willemsmuts.co.za.
Fantastic! Yay!
Yay! Yeah, that's
All right, so that's a lovely long story and download. I think that'll be enough for one interview, but we'll definitely get you back for more.
Yeah, we need to do some dance, show us dancing. Hey, just have some.
Definitely, we'll have to do some live BlissDance something. So thank you so much.
So much, Amanda. Thanks for the
opportunity. And we'll hopefully see you at BlissDance on Friday.
Thanks for your great interviewing skills. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.